Oh, what a move.
Nice dish to Roo from Sire. Count that.
She pulls up for two. Pretty move.
Another one on the board right there.
Reed gets the one.
Sharp gets her first points.
Kelsey Griffin able to finish it off.
Jackie Young getting her second bucket. George will step out for three. Adelaide Lightning get it done on their home deck.
A glorious day in the city of Melbourne, and one of the best rivalries in the NBL renews today. It is the Melbourne Boomers and the Southside Flyers. The Flyers, the defending champs, and yet the two games that we've seen between these sides this year have both been lopsided in favour of the Melbourne Boomers. First time we've seen them in 2022, and it's great to have nationally telecast basketball for you across the country. Laurie Chiswick's alongside me as always. Laurie, can't wait to get into it today. Let's see what the Flyers have for us.
Oh, my goodness, it feels like it's been a long time since we've seen the Melbourne Boomers. We know we just saw the Flyers a couple of days ago when they had that overtime loss to Perth, which was so exciting. But I'm really looking forward to seeing whenever these two teams meet, it's always great.
Well, we were meant to see the Boomers this time last week in this slot. The game never eventuated after a COVID scare, but at times this year, you sort of squint and they look like they could be a title contender, along with the Perth Lynx, who have obviously impressed so far this season, and we know the Southside Flyers, what they're capable of as the defending champions. Surprisingly, though, Laurie Chiswick have a losing record at the moment, which is something they've rarely had under Coach Chambers.
Well, I don't think they've normally seen themselves this far down the ladder that they are right now. But you know what? I still think they're absolutely in the mix. They had a overtime loss, as we mentioned, and then they've had other games that have been really close.
Megan Huswaite is with us as always. Megan, there's always a little bit of late drama. What can you tell us about the makeup of the two teams this afternoon?
Good afternoon, guys, and to everyone watching at home. COVID continues to hit around the WNBL as recently as this morning. Sarah Blitzarves from the Southside Flyers tested positive this morning to COVID, so she'll miss at least the next 3 games for the Flyers. One of 4 players out for them this afternoon. Emily Whittle-Harmon also out, Chelsea D'Angelo and Jenna O'Hay. And for the Melbourne Boomers, well, it's another Olympian in Tess Madgen. She tested positive last Saturday, so she exits isolation today. Of course, not in action for the Boomers this afternoon, but will hopefully play for them on Monday night. They've got another huge assignment in the Perth Lynx.
Thanks, Megan. We'll come back to you throughout the afternoon. The Melbourne Boomers on their home floor. That's their starting lineup. Laurie Chiswick, talk us through it.
Well, we can see a different starting lineup in Izzy Wright and Penina Davidson in there, but we see the likes of Tiffany, Kayla George, Lindsay Allen. They're their stalwarts. They're the ones that need to, regardless of who's on the court, they need to come up big time. The bench looks a little bit not as complete as it was, but actually I think that might not be their starting lineup. When I look at Magnabor down there, surely she'd be in that starting group.
I just got my jaw off the floor. I thought surely she's not coming off the bench to the form that Ezzy's been in so far this year. There is the Southside Flyers lineup. Obviously missing a little bit of punch from what we're used to in recent seasons, been such a dominant force since the name change.
Well, it'll be interesting to see for both these teams who the actual starters are, because I think with Jenna O'Hay not playing and Sarah Blickoffs, that might elevate Rachel Jerry into the starting lineup. They lack a bit of size out there, so it'll be really important that the likes of Kayla George and Ezzy Magnabor really try and take advantage of that.
It'll be fascinating to see how they go. So under Coach Chambers, they're 34-11 over the last few years. The Southside Flyers 2-3 to start the new season. It is reach out round. You may have seen the shirt that Megan Huswaite was rolling with moments ago. So a great initiative. We've seen themed rounds across various sporting leagues, but in partnership with Lifeline, Beyond Blue, Headspace Ballarat, Kids Helpline and Reach Out. This is the reach out round in the WNBL, continuing the conversation that it's okay to not be okay, and a reminder to check in regularly with loved ones. So a very important message across round 7 in the WNBL.
I think it's great that we're able to promote that, especially in this time, and people, you know, those groups that you mentioned are so important and just so available to people, and I love the saying, if you're not, it's okay to not be okay.
So a few of the stars missing, but always a fascinating game when these two teams play one another. They've met twice this year, back in round 2 and round 3. was the Melbourne Boomers who got away from them after trailing early in both games, so ended up winning game 1 by 19 points and game 2 by 15 points. Even though the Michelle Timms Cup's been decided and they're going to take the season split, always interesting matchups when the two teams in Melbourne find themselves head-to-head.
It doesn't matter what the scoreline is in the previous games or whether they've won 2 and not won a game yet for the Flyers. It'll be intense. And even with the players missing, it doesn't matter. It's the 5 that are on the court at the one time that just go head-to-head. They go at it. The matchups will be interesting. It'll have been a bit harder for the coaches to sort of plan matchups and strategies. They might have had to do that a bit on the run, but, you know, players are very versatile. These two teams have had a great history playing against each other.
You just saw the refs moments ago, so Travis Stewart's actually on debut today in the WNBL, so good luck to Travis, one of the 3 refs in action. There's the Melbourne Boomers lineup, so we are being told Penina Davidson's going to start, and there she is. So among the starters, they're in their home unis, predominantly in purple with the gold accent. And on their home floor, what are we calling this? Is this the boom box? Is that what they're rolling with, the Melbourne Boomers?
I saw that name on the entrance and when we did our opener, the boom box. So they've named that. They're going to run with that, and let's hope for them, for their sake, that it's a successful venue for them. We'll
talk more about the venue as the game progresses. Huge redevelopments of this stadium over the last few years, and significant money put into it. A $130 million redevelopment, home to the Vixens, our Hockey 1 teams in Victoria, and of course a former home of the Melbourne Tigers, formerly the Cage. Now the Boombox, the 2 teams in Melbourne in the WNBL, and Kayla George went up, the only one to contest that. We're going to do it again. Bishop and George, and the first tip goes the way of the Melbourne Boomers. And George down to Davidson. So Ezzy McMcGaw to come off the bench for the Boomers.
Yes, I think we'll have to send Megan to find out a little bit more about that. That's really interesting.
We'll get to Megan momentarily for an update on that. Allen, bounce pass to George, shot up, doesn't go. And a rebound for Amy Rochi. The Southside Flyers, predominantly in white today, runs the length of the floor, can't get it to go.
Yep.
Still in search for the first points. Megan Huswaite courtside.
Well, Ezzy McMcGaw has been in isolation as a close contact of Tess Madgen, her roommate, on the road trip last weekend that didn't eventuate in Traralgon. She only got out of ISO yesterday, so that's why she'll be starting off the bench today.
Penina Davidson with the first bucket, grabs the O-board. The putback's good, so that starts the scoring thanks to Megan Huswaite. So McMcGaw off the bench for the Boomers.
And that makes sense because usually the start of the game is often a bit frenetic and up and down, and so they'll wait until everybody sort of settles in, gets a bit of a rhythm, and then we'll see Ezzy come in.
Bet Cole answering bucket for the Flyers. So a make each to start the game. Right, down low to George. Trying to back her way in on Bishop. Nice shot. Just pulls up in front of the free throw line and bangs it down.
Kayla George is going to be really important in this game today, as is Bet Cole, who we see just driving hard to the basket and drawing that foul.
Attack mode early, Bet Cole. Here's the pull-up from Kayla George.
Right idea, Izzy Wright coming across to help, but just a little bit late.
It's the Boomers, they were scheduled to play the Capitals last Saturday. They were on a 4-game win streak throughout December and actually lost on the 30th of December. That was the last time we saw them against Adelaide. So in the bounce-back spot here after waiting 2 weeks to play their next game. 1 of 2 for Bet Cole from that trip. Here's Allen driving to the rack, can't get it up over the rim. Jarry among the starters. Oh, called for the walk.
Yeah, she just didn't have anybody to pass it to, and she was looking around, must have just dragged that pivot foot a little bit.
Shots of Tiffany Mitchell moments ago, what form she's been in to start the new season. Did see Megan Huswaite's column in the paper during the week, ranking her as the #1 player in the game through the first couple of matches. We might get an update from Megan on her list as the season progresses, and maybe even as the game progresses. We'll kick it back down to Megan. She had a special mention in there as well for Marina Maybury, who had only played one game at the time, and now she's played 2 more and feels like she's averaging, what, 20 plus, almost 30 points a game for the first 3 games to start the season.
She is. I think after last night's game, it's probably around 27, 28.
Hey, look, an absolute force, the Lynx. Here's Maddie Rocci out to Bishop up top. Arcing three's good.
Abby Bishop has been really influential on this Flyers team so far. If you look at the stats of the league and where she figures, you see her name a lot, whether it's in the points, the rebounding.
First lead change of the game. Mitchell attacks inside, dumps it down low, and Kayla George with the easy make. Her second basket locks it up at 6 apiece. Is Amy Rocci on the perimeter. Dumps it over the top to Bishop. Tough layup. The pressure from Mitchell doesn't go.
Mitchell really affected that shot just by being there and going up and being athletic.
5 on 4 up the floor, and the numbers went out. Davidson inside the charge circle. Another easy make for Melbourne. Second lead change. Maddie Rocci down low. Cole has it wrestled from her. A scrap under the basket with Wright, and the foul eventually comes. It's going to be called on Izzy Wright. A good job initially just to try and wrestle the basketball from Beck Cole. And
Beck was going to have nothing to do with that and wrestle it right back.
That scramble called the second time around. Just flicked on a couple of big names out for Southside, so still no Jenna O'Hay. Sarah Blitzarv's out this morning. COVID protocol, so 2 of their opals missing for the Southside Flyers, the defending champs. Beck Cole with the added responsibility, makes both the charity stripe. All knotted up again.
And Beck Cole is actually, I would say, still a little bit in recovery mode. She was very sick for quite a while, and you know, it's good to see her back on the court. You can see that the Flyers, on a make, they're going into a zone. If they miss down at the other end, they're in man-to-man, but if they make a basket, they're in a zone.
Here's Bishop up the floor for the Flyers, out to Cole, dribbles inside from the elbow. Beck Cole with the shooter's roll. She's had a hot start. Here's Mitchell, swings it down low, trying to find George. A little too much on the pass, and out it goes. So you get a stop here, the Flyers up by 2.
I like the idea that the Flyers are switching up their defense. It doesn't give the Boomers, who we know are pretty potent offensively, to get in any sort of rhythm. They have to constantly be switching up what their offenses they are running.
Here's Rocci down to Bishop. Pump fake, trying to back her way in on George. Got there, swings it out. Weak side 3 from Beck Cole. Fills it up again.
What a great start for Beck Cole, and in the absence of those others, she really needs to shine.
Great vision too. A weak side 45, and the pass from Bishop. Davidson dumps it back out. George puts the shot up off the iron, no good. Davidson scrapping for the rebound. Jarry also there. Davidson was out of bounds. So it'll be the Flyers' ball. You see this pass again from Bishop. The assassin on the perimeter. Beck Cole happy to bang that down, Laurie.
She is, and she was ready to shoot that, and that's what you want when you're inside, you're double teamed. You want to have shooters ready to just catch and put it up, which Beck Cole was.
Megan Huswaite courtside.
A round of applause here at the Boombox with Ezzy Magbegor into the game for the first time. And for the Flyers, Christy Wallace, didn't she have a terrific match against Perth during the week? She'll be really important off the bench this afternoon.
Yeah, Ezzy's played all 6 games, averaging 15 points a game to start the new season. Down low, Bishop, nice move. And lays it in with a right-hand layup. All of a sudden, it's 15 to 8. Hold the phone on that. It's from long range. The 3 ball's good from Lily Scanlon. Her first touch of the basketball's a 3. Calder answers straight back, left it short. We got a 4-point game. It's the Flyers who lead it. McMagour down low.
Great defense by Abby Bishop, cutting off that baseline.
Mitchell attacks the rim, took an extra step. Called for the travel. She thought she had the and one call. That wasn't the whistle she was expecting. No points, Southside ball. What do you think, Laurie?
I'm not really sure about that. Having said that, when I can't even look at it when it's going in slow motion to decide, the refs have a pretty tough job.
Bet Cole, by the way, up to 10 points, so has 10 of the 15 already for Southside. Shot up, left a little short. Wallace coming off the bench for Southside, and there's Ezzy into the game, grabbing the rebound. Charity catches her in a tangle immediately, called for the foul. Southside with a couple of early makes from long range. The Boomers 1 of 2. Of course, they are a team in the competition that can go ice cold from long range at times. They had that start last season where they missed a boatload of shots across the first couple of games. Lindsay Allen pulls up off the dribble, shows her class.
That was really nice, coming off that on-ball screen from Kayla George and coming off with the shooter's mentality of being able to just score straight away.
Rocci answers straight back. That's Maddie Rocci with her first points of the ball game. 3 to go before quarter time. Mitchell to the weak side. Scanlon to Allen, back to Scanlon. Ball finding a bit of energy here. George to Allen. Allen puts it on the floor. Shot goes up. No good. A rebound going the way of the Flyers, and Kate Gay's on the floor. That
zone's causing them a little bit of problem. They didn't look too comfortable that last phase down the court.
Maddie Rocci pulls up. Doesn't go. Rims out. 2-possession game. Scanlon attack mode. Shot up. Foul. Lily Scanlon will head to the line to shoot a couple.
Just a great use of the change of pace by Lily Scanlon. Just sort of hesitates. Kate Gaze just comes out of the stance a little bit, and then she turns on the jets and finds herself at the foul line.
Scanlon's first shot doesn't go. She's at 80% from the free throw line so far this year. Played 9 minutes against Adelaide. He's actually the only player in the plus-minus for the Boomers in a game that they lost in the end by double digits. Makes the second 1-possession game.
That game seems like so long ago, 16 days ago. You know, when you get a loss, you want to make up for it straight away, and to have to wait all that time in a few postponed games.
Bishop's shot doesn't go. They recover the ball, though. Back out to Kate Gaze. 3-ball doesn't go. Nice recovery from Wallace. Still with the Flyers. Bishop puts up the shot a little heavy. That wasn't a finish. And right on the rebound. Allen in transition now for the Boomers. Down low. George fade away. Falling to the baseline. Still makes it.
Nice connection between those two. Good timing on that pass.
With the 6 first quarter points, Bishop for the answering 3. No good, and McMagour pulls down the board. Immediately attracts some attention. Taylor Simmons called for the foul.
You know, there's no really point in making those fouls. So Ezzy's got a good rebound. She's not going to blast up the floor and do something. So, you know, you really just you're just adding, they're going to get to the foul line sooner.
2 lead changes in the opening quarter. Here's McMagour up top, 10 left on the red numbers. Down to George, Simmons got a hand on it on the way through. George back to McMagour, the bigs combine, and Ezzy puts the Boomers back in front.
Do you think that pass was for Izzy, or was it going across court anyway? Her long reach, her arms just brought it in beautifully.
If Ezzy's passing through the paint, just put it somewhere in the vicinity and she'll be able to rope it in. 3-ball at the other end. Again, Bishop can't connect. Tried a few looks in this opening term. They're 2 of 7 from long range, the Flyers. At last, successful make the third lead change in the opening quarter. Around the horn they go. 6 left on the shot clock. Right from the corner. 3-ball no good. Misses everything. Bishop in transition. Bounce pass out to Gage to Rochi. Rochi attacks back to Bishop. It's a long way down, and Bishop can't reel it in. They turn it over.
Oh, they missed a 3-on-2 opportunity.
Allen goes herself. Hard foul. Wallace over the top. Foul shots coming up for Lindsay Allen. What a start she's had to the season as well. 13 points a game. 6 starts. She's a 76% foul shooter so far this year. She's liked the Flyers, by the way. The 2 games that she's played against Southside had 22 in both.
That's right.
A little long on the first. Second shot's good. 2-point game. Subs on the shooter, so she'll sit straight down. Tiffany Mitchell back on for the last 30 seconds. There's Amy Rochi up into the front court. As you can see on the wide shot, there's still a reasonable roll-up. It feels like the crowd's just sort of waiting to be plugged into the electrical socket, sort of coming to scream for in this opening quarter. It feels like we're shouting a little bit at times to... it's such a bit of a hush around the venue.
Well, it is, and it's I feel like both teams are just a little bit tentative right now, just sort of, you know, nobody's really found their rhythm. They're testing each other out. But the thing is, we have to remember there's the rotations are all out of whack with some of the players that are out. So, you know, other players are getting more minutes. They haven't played with each other. The coach is making the subs. It's all a little bit different, and it will take maybe another quarter, but...
Time's going to run out in this opening quarter. Final second, half-court heave from Wallace. A little off target. 3 lead changes in the opening term. It's Melbourne who lead it by a bucket. 1 quarter down. Second term action next.
Strong enough, not fast enough, wrong. We're crossover queens, scoring buckets, taking names and hitting no-look threes. We fight for every ball, until we dunk, hell yeah. When we roll into the court with nothing to lose and everything to prove, you're in for a show. She got style, she got balls, she got belief, she got game.
Quarter time in the boombox. It's the Melbourne Boomers 19, Southside 17. 3 lead changes in that opening term. Here's Boomers coach Guy Malloy.
Together on 3, 1, 2, 3, together.
Just got there a little late. He just finished saying some inspirational stuff, and I just got there a fraction late, so he missed it. But it's quarter time. Laurie Chiswick's here. She'll be able to tell you all about it. What did we see in that opening quarter?
Well, as I said, right near the end there, and you were mentioning it, it just feels a little bit tentative right now that nobody's really, and if you look at the scoring, nobody's dominated. I mean, Beck Cole has 10 points, so she's certainly on point with her game. But other than that, it's sort of evenly spread. Both teams have had some turnovers, 4 for Southside and 3 for Melbourne, so you can see that tentativeness. But hopefully now that they've worked themselves into the game, we've got some subs on again, and we'll see what happens this second quarter.
Megan Huswaite's courtside.
Laurie spoke about the importance of the rotations, and that is what Cheryl Chambers, the Southside coach, touched on at quarter time. Christy Wallace into the lineup to start this second quarter, and they're going to roll Saray Taylor and Taylor Simmons through the 4th spot.
Jeez, there's lots of Taylors in this Southside Flyers team. I spoke to Coach Chambers in the lead up to the season. She said we got so many Taylors. Taylors as surnames, Taylors as first names, different spellings of Taylors. But they're all getting a little bit of burn out there for the Southside Flyers as Southside lock it up with the first make of the second term. Here's Tiffany Mitchell, just shoots straight over the hand in the face from Gaze. Can't get it to go. Great pass into the lane for Amy Rochi. And Wallace will be credited with a very neat assist. We got another lead change. Southside back in front.
It's a good strategy that Southside have playing that zone on a make, because it's certainly slowed down the scoring of Melbourne, and they're not shooting the ball particularly well from outside. They're 1 from 4 right now. Just there again, a bit of a fumble, a bit of a miscommunication between the two players.
Wallace puts the shot up over Izzy Wright and gets it to go off the glass.
The other thing about a zone is that if you can get a good rebound, you can get out and run really quickly, and so that would be advantageous to the Flyers.
Christy Wallace, 26-year-old, had a sensational college career. A couple of knee injuries, some serious reconstructions with a setback, but boy, she started the season well back in the WNBL. Here's Wright for 3 as the board lights up. Doesn't even skim the rim in the end, and the Flyers will take it back the other way.
I thought Christy Wallace had a great game against Perth the other day, and not only offensively was she an influence, but she did. I mean, Maybury still had a great game, but just her extra bit of length, her height, just slowed her down a little bit, and she was terrific.
Stat line read 16, 4 and 2. Numbers for Christy Wallace the other night. Foul called as you saw, so we're going to have a timeout here. We will listen into my man, Guy Malloy. I did promise this at quarter time. We're going to get you there a fraction later.
We don't jog back and let them have a layup because we're too lazy to run the floor and they get a layup. We're not going to play that way. And then I'm waiting for you guys to stop looking at everyone else and then orchestrate the offense. Play like you want the ball. Move it off the top, dive and present. Turn and look, dive again. Don't walk through the middle of the key and expect you're going to get a pass. Post up and present strongly. Move and cut. Get back in D and work our butts off. What do you expect to walk out there and we're just going to win the game? You've got to work at it. All right, we're in strong. Man or zone. Here we go.
He ain't happy either.
Well, when he said we're in strong, he had strong words there and didn't mince his words. And he was spot on in what he said, is that you can't spectate. And against that zone, there are too many people going, well, you do it, and you've got to be able to cut hard and, as he said, present and want the ball. And then defensively, well, that's just effort.
At their best, the Boomers, they make you feel like they're the best team in the league when they can put it all together, and yet they do have the odd flat spot in them, as all teams do, but we've seen that already in the small sample size this year. We've got an international window coming up where they'll lose some Opals players. So it's important that when you get Southside and they haven't got Sarah Blitzarves and they haven't got Jenna O'Hay, that you don't miss the opportunity. All of a sudden, they're 6 down. 2-possession game, 8 minutes to go in the second quarter.
And I remember thinking that about them when they played against Adelaide. I thought, oh, they just seem really flat out there. And so you just, as we've mentioned before in other games, this league is just too competitive. You cannot come out to any game without expecting to work really hard to get the W.
Gee, Amy Rochi now lays it in, so it's an 8-point spread, a new game high, and they are rolling the Flyers. Boomers have some work to do. George through the lane. Gee, she was travelling. Everyone moved out of the way, expecting contact, never got it. Missed the easy lane. Kate Kays, corner 3, no good. They've got to find a way to halt momentum, the Boomers. Megan Husway.
We saw Rachel Jarry make those free throws a few seconds ago. Just an insight into life as a WNBL player. She stepped into the starting lineup in the absence of Sarah Blitzarves. She's a police officer and has spent the week doing intensive driving training and now has a huge load for the next 3 games.
Shooter in the building. Tiffany Mitchell bangs it down, and they needed that, Laurie.
Wow, they certainly did.
Thanks to Megan Huswaite. It's big double duties, isn't it? Life as a police officer and WNBL player as well in the same season. The times we're living through at the moment. Rachel Jarry. Here's Mitchell to make it back-to-back mates. Just wanted the foul, didn't get it. I'll retain possession. Ends up over the baseline.
Well, it's the same for somebody like Izzy Wright, has a full-time job and then trying to balance a WNBL career. And again, she was inserted into the starting lineup. So, you know, you have to admire these players that are working and playing and trying to juggle it all.
5-point spread, 3 lead changes in the opening quarter. Had 1 already in this term. We've only had 1 make so far for the Boomers in the quarter, and that was that 3-ball from Tiffany Mitchell moments ago. Almost 4 minutes old. Allen on the perimeter, pulls up for a deep 2, left it short. Bet Cole into the front court. Bishop to Wallace. Jarry to Cole. Foul caught on Davidson. It's away from the basketball.
Just watching the player movement on both teams as the balls moved around. Southside certainly have more player movement than Melbourne do, especially against that zone.
Cole thought about the look. Links up with Bishop. Out to Rocci. Amy Rocci can't connect. Again, there's a tangle underneath the basket. I think this is going to be on Davidson again. It is. So unfortunately now a hold against Penina Davidson. She picks up 2 fouls in the same set.
Here we go, white ball. I'm here, kid, I'm here.
Here's Cole from the inbounds. Amy Rocci to Jarry. Left it short through contact. The Boomers get the stop eventually. Wallace guarding Allen here. Works her way around. Bishop loses the handle over the baseline. Little touch on the way through. I think it'll be Boomers' ball.
Yes.
Like one of the refs pointed the wrong way at all of that. Get a better look at it there, whacked out of her hands. Melbourne ball. See what they can do here. Mitchell gets another look at it. Doesn't take it. Dribble penetration. Retreats back out. Now shoots off the dribble. Left it short. Not sure that was the play they drew up. It's Wallace.
Oh.
Bounce pass through to Maddie Rocci. Turns it over. Turnovers both ends of the floor here. Allen draws the defender and Wallace goes over the top. Lands safely, fortunately for her. Allen got the call she wanted. Boy, she went for the climb up top and the floor just gave way on her.
Well, I'm glad to see both of them get up pretty quickly there.
Take a few tumbles like that, Laurie, in your playing days?
Certainly not from jumping that high. Maybe being on the other end.
You might have been Lindsay Allen in that setup.
Exactly.
She's got foul shots here. Allen, mentioned 22 in both the previous games. 1 of 5 from the field so far tonight. First one's good.
So this game actually suits Melbourne because they're a really good defensive team. In fact, they're the best defensive team along with Adelaide. You know, so they're doing a good job at keeping Southside's scoring rate. But I just don't feel like they've clicked into gear at all. Southside, I feel like even you know, they've got 27 points, but I just feel like they're moving more. They've got different options out there.
Oh, Jarry, loose pass, gets a second go at it. Maddie Rocci up top. Out to Bet Cole, clean look for 3. Shakes right for the triple, no good. Another offensive board for Bishop. It's be on Davidson again. She's got 3 fouls in the quarter. And that's going to be problematic for the Boomers big. The Bishop underneath the bucket there. She was the only one getting that board.
Well, it is certainly problematic given that if Ezzy can only play limited minutes, maybe her, you know, for energy reasons, and now Davidson has to sit, and it's halfway through the second quarter. They may have to become a little bit creative.
Here's Kate Gaze off the dribble. Maddie Rocci. Dribble penetration, spin move on Ezzy. That shot's not getting up. No thanks, says Ezzy. Still runs the floor and then loses the handle. Just didn't have the touch over the baseline it goes, but have a look at this. No, thank you.
Oh, thank you is right. The thing is that Ezzy's teammates have to recognize that she's probably not got the energy that she normally does, so don't expect her to leap in the air and catch those sort of passes. You know, she's probably not going to be able to do that.
Here's Bet Cole driving inside. Shot goes up through hands and still makes it. Had a hot start, Bet Cole, and that's her first make in this second term. It's up to 12 for the game.
She just has an uncanny way of finding ways to score, and I think that's certainly from her 3x3 experiences that she's brought to the 5-on-5, and it's so good to see.
Gee, Allen ended up on a backside underneath the stanchion. Ezzy McMcGall throws it away. Maddie Rocci in the passing lane. Kate Gaze settles for the straight on three. Doesn't go. 5-point spread. The Flyers have led most of this second quarter. Here's Lindsay Allen for three. That's good. Can they get the Boomers rolling? Nothing but nylon for Lindsay Allen. Maddie Rocci shakes Scanlon. Outlet pass. Bet Cole for three. Answers straight back.
How good of a season is Bet Cole having? Right now she's averaging 18 points per game, and she's just so consistent. And it is inside and out. You know, she's never been a prolific three-point shooter now, but you know what? When they kick it out to her, I now think this is going in.
Up to 15 points, back-to-back makes for Bet Cole. Leading scorer in the game is Guy Malloy in the Boomers huddle.
Okay, defensively we go to our blacks. Right, anything out of the middle, anything out of the side, we're going to black now. Everyone clear? All right, if they re-pick, red if we need to on a re-pick. Okay, it's not, they're going to make shots, that's okay. Like we're guarding 32 points at the moment. We need some presentation, movement of the ball, and better shot selection. Take care of the basketball.
We have to be patient for each other to move
we talked about it before the game, right? Now, we're going to go to a 2 down here, man or zone. Man or zone, 2 down, work hard to get to our floor spots. So if the play doesn't get a shot, no panic, pick them apart afterwards. It's not going to happen for you on the first play. Here we go.
Together on 3, 1, 2, 3, together.
There's Kayla George's voice in amongst all that as well with Guy Malloy. It just isn't clicking for the Boomers so far, and they have shooting performances like this. I mentioned the game against Adelaide. They went 2 of 27 from 3. Didn't make a field goal in the final quarter. They had only 3 points in the last quarter. They all came from the charity stripe. And here in this quarter, they've had, what, only 8 points so far after leading the game at quarter time. Megan Huswaite courtside.
Well, Jenna O'Hea, the Southside captain, of course, not playing today. She's not even at the game, so we wish her all the best. But it was the leaders. It was Bet Cole. It was Abby Bishop also getting in the action at the timeout. So great to hear those leaders really using their voices.
Cast in a different role today as well, the Flyers. I mentioned it as part of the intro that how rare is it, Laurie Chiswick, that this team has a losing record. They're 2-3 with their record under Coach Chambers 34-11. they would have played very few games that they've turned out as the underdog. So I guess a bit of a different dynamic for them today here with really nothing to lose coming into this game in that sense.
Well, exactly. And they because they've lost twice to the Boomers, they're down on players. They just played an overtime game the other night. They have all the incentive to just play loose and just go out there, and nobody probably expected them to win tonight with those players missing. So sometimes when that happens, the pressure's sort of lifted, and you know, we find them, I think right now they're playing much better than the Boomers.
5-point spread. Oh, as he wasn't expecting the pass, they throw it away again, the Boomers. Still not finding that connection. Bet Cole's driving to the rack, and she's fouled. More foul shots coming up for Bet Cole. A hand in from Lindsay Allen.
This is where the likes of Kayla George and Lindsay Allen, leaders on the Boomers, need to really step up. And Tiff Mitchell as well. They need to go, okay, we've got to take control of this game. We've got to work with the other players. But we need to have a real influence. And it needs to start now.
Mentioned a couple of times the Boomers haven't played in 16 days, and at the moment they look like a team that hasn't played in every single one of those days. They sort of square peg round hole type stuff at the moment for the Melbourne Boomers, particularly offensively. Now a 7-point spread. Pass just gets to McMagor. Right, down low to George, moved it on, and McMagor finishes at the rim. Neat little deflection from Kayla George.
Yeah, that was a nice movement when, you know, between Kayla and Ezzy. When one gets it, the other cuts, and that's exactly what happened.
Cole down to Jarry. Spin move to the baseline and off the glass for another basket.
That's an experienced Rachel Jarry out there against Lindsay Allen. She knew she had that mismatch.
Mitchell had the clean look, didn't take it, shakes Cole, and now misfires. McMagor pulls down the rebound. Scramble onto the ball, and Wallace comes up with it, and Wright's going to be called for the reach-in. And the bonus too, so they'll be walking the length of the floor, and Christy Wallace to shoot some foul shots.
I wondered if it would be worth, and maybe they'll talk about it at halftime, of Melbourne going into a bit of a zone to try and mix it up. Southside are 3 from 13 right now, 23%, so it's not like they're chewing it up from the outside either. Just try something different and try and, as I mentioned earlier, maybe get a couple of great rebounds and run yourself. They haven't had any easy transition baskets.
Wallace misses the first, second shot up. High arcing foul shot, that's good. Oh, dangerous passing again from the Boomers. Mitchell bangs bodies with Maddie Rocci. The foul's going to come on the defense here. Another look at that, the block from Rocci. Happy with that call?
Yes, yeah. I thought she didn't have her feet set. Maddie Rocci, though, she drew 2 of those fouls in the game the other day when she was playing against Perth, and just, you know, really was getting under the skin of those Perth players. She's a great defender.
So we're at round 7, but most teams have sort of only played 4 or 5 games with a number of matches postponed early in the season, which sporting competitions across the world are finding. Which means we're still trying to establish a bit of a hierarchy early in the season as to who the genuine title contenders are.
Well, Sydney and Perth have only played 3 games.
Here's McMagor out to Allen. Catch and shoot for 3.
I think she, as it left her hand, she knew that was going down.
She's starting to heat up, Lindsay Allen. Basket cut for Wallace. Reverse layup doesn't go. Can the Boomers ride a wave here into the halftime break? Allen off the dribble. Pulls up for back-to-back. Makes. Can't do it again. And Cole back down the other end of the floor for the Flyers. Hand in there from Allen. Lost the handle, lost the ball. Boomers will get it back. All of a sudden, just a 2-possession game as we close in on halftime. Allen up to 11 points. Has 8 in the quarter. Mitchell thought about the look. They'll set up again with 10 on the red numbers. They get a 2 for 1 here if they get it off. Shot goes up from Magnator, no good. Chance for the Flyers in transition. It's not much of a differential at all.
Oh, they just want to play for that last shot. Don't give Melbourne a chance to come back and have any sort of look.
Rochi to bounce pass, down low, Bishop, spin move, and tough finish over Mitchell. Does well to put it back to 7. Last shot of the half, Mitchell pulls up off the dribble, it's long. And a 7-point game at halftime, which feels more in keeping with the game that we've seen. The Flyers able to take over in this quarter, and they've outscored the Melbourne Boomers by 9 in the quarter after trailing by 2 at quarter time. They lead by 7 at the half. It's the Boomers 39, the Flyers 32. Bet Cole with 17 for the Flyers and Lindsay Allen with 11 for the Boomers, the only other player in double digits. 4 lead changes. That team, the Southside Flyers, without a number of their stars, missing 2 fan favourites, 2 of their opals, and Jenna O'Hay and Sarah Blitzarves, and yet they're up by 7 at half-time. Megan Huswaite has Bet Cole. It might just have to get a fire extinguisher out, Megan, and put out Bet Cole, who has 17 points to half-time.
Bet Cole is hot, and I'm sure you're feeling hot because I know you're still recovering from COVID. How are you feeling?
Yeah, look, it's been a rough. I guess I was lucky I got it around the holiday period. Yeah, I missed time with my family, but I didn't miss a game. But first came back, I don't think anyone tells you about your lungs and how bad and not fit you feel. But great to be out here playing games. It's what we want during this, tiring time in COVID.
How are you feeling right now, though? Take us through it.
I feel better. I think I've now got plans in step with our sports doctor, to know what to do every day to recover. But, look, we're up right now, so I'm feeling good.
You're making things feel good for the Flyers. How gutsy is this effort? You're 4 down today. You lost Sarah Blitzarves this morning, and you're leading the Melbourne Boomers.
I know, it's great. I think people put us as the underdog, but what I love about the spirit of our team is, we're strong, we're getting better, we're learning, and we have such a deep bench and, youngsters that are learning every week. So, it's the opportunity for our bench players now to step up, which is super exciting for them.
And you're stepping up today. Keep fighting. Thanks, Coley.
Thanks.
17 points for Bet Cole, 10 in the first quarter. And the Southside Flyers, they lead it by 7 at half-time. Here's the highlights on that first half. Laurie Chiswick, what have we witnessed?
Well, certainly Bet Cole is a standout for both teams. The way she's gone about her business, we see her shooting that long 3 there. I like the fact that the Flyers were playing that zone. I thought that stymied the Boomers. Certainly, they just looked not comfortable with it. Kayla George had some baskets early, but then has been a bit quiet. Ezzie certainly is not herself, has had 0 impact on the game. Lindsay Allen, she's doing a good job. But really, I feel like it could completely change the next half. The coaches will go and talk about things. Melbourne really have to get their energy levels up and start concentrating more on a bit of their defense.
Here's the numbers. So from the field, the Flyers at 42%. The 3-ball, Flyers 3 of 13, Melbourne 4 of 10. We know Melbourne can go cold at times from long range. They've got to the foul line on 10 occasions. The Flyers 4 more than the Boomers. +4 in the rebounding count. The assists and turnovers pretty even. The numbers that really matter on the scoreboard. It's the Flyers 39, the Boomers 32, so a 7-point spread. The defending champs, Southside Flyers, at half-time. So that's the first half in the books. Coming up next, last night, a record-breaking turnout in the WNBL. We'll tell you about it. Plus, a key signing. A player not listed currently in the WNBL is coming back. We'll tell you who next. in the WNBL. The Southside Flyers lead it by 7 points. The defending champions, missing Jenna O'Hea, missing Sarah Bledsoe, still in front by 7 points over their chief rival, the Melbourne Boomers. Let's get you back down courtside. Megan Huswaite has a very special guest alongside her. Megan.
I sure do. We've got some breaking news at halftime of the WNBL around the country today, and that is that Melbourne Boomers have signed Carly Ernst, who has just had a baby 4 months ago. Little Kylan, you're in the colours. When will you be suiting up, Carl?
Not too sure yet, just getting back on the training track and hopefully sooner rather than later, so yeah.
How did it come about? Because from what we can work out, it's been a pretty quick process.
Yeah, last week reached out, asked if I'd be interested in playing and how I was going. I feel good and I said I'm ready, so yeah, straight back into it.
Now you have been back on court because you've signed to play in NBL 1 this year, so you had been running around.
Yes, had been running around a little bit and doing lots of Pilates and things to get the body better after having the baby, so yeah.
Now, part of the signing and the timing of it is that, of course, we've got the FIBA qualification window coming up next month, and Ezzy Magbagor, Kayla George, part of that Opal squad, of course, so you're going to get some big opportunities when you get out.
Yes, I will. I need to get fit real quick for that, but no, hopefully I can fill in while those girls are away and yeah, do my bit for the team.
We're going to talk about Cully Wilson, who last night became the first player to play 400 games in the WNBL. One of several mums in the league this season, and little Kylan, I'm sure, will be here cheering you on.
Yes, he sure will be. He's at home now, but yes, he'll come along to a few games.
It's going to be great to see. Great to have you back in the league. Of course, you were with the Bendigo Spirit last season in the hub, and now in the colours of purple, and we'll see you very soon, I'm sure.
Yes, thank you. I'm excited.
Thanks, Megan, and thanks to Carly Ernst as well. So that is a big signing in more ways than one. MVP with the Bendigo Spirit. Now she's going to add cover with Ezzy and Kayla obviously going away expectedly as part of that Opal squad. But imagine when all of a sudden they come back and you've got Carly Ernst coming off the bench. That is a huge addition to this lineup.
Well, it is if that's the case. My understanding is that initially it is just for that window, and then they have to assess it and I guess see what the future is. But fantastic that they're being so proactive with that, because the thing is that they may have games that have been postponed now, and if they have to find some place to put them, the WNBL may be slotting some extra games into that window. So to have a player of Carly Ernst's stature is super exciting for the Boomers.
Either way, it's a good addition for the league. So Carly Ernst is on her way back with the Melbourne Boomers. And we got second half action around the corner, and all you got to do is sit there on the couch and wait for it. It's 2 minutes away. The Southside Flyers lead the Boomers by 7 points at halftime.
Hi.
Hi.
We were thinking of having a cruisy day.
Maybe grab a pastry and a coffee.
See some street art.
Maybe go to a museum.
Grab a gelato.
And have afternoon tea.
Any suggestions?
Welcome to Melbourne and the home of the Deakin Melbourne Boomers, which is on the lands of the Bunurong Bunurong and Wurundjeri Woiwurrung peoples of the Eastern Kulin Nation, to whom we pay respect to their elders past, present and emerging. Today, we are led by the next generation of boomers.
Melbourne Boomers, this is their home floor, the Boom Box, $130 million redevelopment of the State Basketball Centre in Parkville. The tenants here, the Vixens, the Hockey 1 teams, also the former home of the Melbourne Tigers, obviously previously known as the Cage. It's had staged Commonwealth Games basketball and is a hell of a facility. The Melbourne Boomers, they get to do everything there, all their recovery, all in one place, which is a huge advantage, and Laurie Chiswick, not something that every team in the competition enjoys, to be on one site to get everything done in the week as a professional athlete.
Oh, so true, and I've heard nothing but positive things from the players to be able to train, to then go to weights, to have their recovery, all in that one spot just is so easy for them.
Second half action underway, 7-point lead for the Flyers. Outscored the Boomers by 9 in that second quarter. Last touch by Beck Cole over the sidelines. The Boomers retain possession. Who has to step up here, Laurie? What are you looking for from the Boomers' perspective?
Well, the lady that has the ball right now, Tiff Mitchell, I think she needs to have more of an impact on the game. She only has 3 points to date, and so she needs to insert her influence. She needs to get going, whether that's through dribble penetration and using her explosiveness, or a pull-up jumper or a three, but she needs to find a bit more energy out there.
Averages 17 points a game, by the way. Tiffany Mitchell so far this year, the leading scorer for the Boomers. Maddie Rocci got a hand in there, and it contributes to the turnover. There's Amy Rocci, her sister-in-law. There's a foul called, though. There we go. Oh, on Bishop, so it's on the offense.
Not sure if she was trying to set a screen on Lindsay Allen, like a quick transition screen.
Gee, Allen ended up on her backside. Everyone was waiting to see which way the call went. And against Bishop in the offense, and she's still talking it over with the refs on the left-hand side of your screen. There's Coach Cheryl Chambers, championship coach. Former coach of the Melbourne Boomers, by the way. Spent 8 years with Melbourne. Now in her third season with the Flyers. Still looking for our first points of the quarter. Will they come here? Mitchell puts it on the floor, drives.
I like the fact that that play was actually set up for her. So whether she came off of it and was open for a three, Beck Cole there, she's closed out, she took her on. So at least she's trying to get involved, trying to get her involved.
Here's Lindsay Allen, 11 in the first half for her. George up top, gets rid of the defender, knocks down the mid-range. First points of the second half for the Melbourne Boomers. Their floor general, Kayla George, gets the scoring going. Here's Amy Rocci in the corner, close to the baseline. Bounce pass opposite corner, 3-ball up, no good from Jarry. Bishop pulls it down, ball finds energy, up top to Maddie Rocci, puts up the 2, no good. And a fallen white ball. Gee, Kayla George is not happy with that. She was keeping close watch on the baseline.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see that again, in that it looked like she timed it enough that she got it out of the air and back in court.
I thought they might have been calling a foul on Maddie Rocci. They sort of landed in a similar space competing for that rebound. Here is Maddie Rocci. 6 left on the red numbers. Gets it out to Jarry. Drives, travel. Boomers get another stop.
That's exactly what the Boomers need to start this quarter. They've got a good score, a stop now.
Around the horn, George to right. Is he right back to Mitchell in the corner? And Mitchell, attack mode, shot up, it's good. A left-handed layup finishes at the rack.
That's what we were talking about, exactly that. Get her involved.
Answering straight back, no. Jarry can't get it to go. Just a three-point game. Mitchell, bounce pass, through to McGregor and kisses it in off the glass.
Good timeout call by Cheryl Chambers, because all of a sudden the Boomers look like they found a little bit of rhythm, and you want to stop that straight away. 3 straight mates to start the second half. The Melbourne Boomers on a bit of a roll. Mentioned at halftime, a record-setting night last night. She's already the game's record holder, but achieving sort of new milestones last night. You worked this game, passing the 400 barrier. Kelly Wilson becoming the first player in WNBL history to reach the milestone. It was so great to be involved with this game. It wasn't the result that Kelly had hoped for, but she is just such a legend, such a superstar of our competition. 19 seasons it's taken her to get to those 400 games, but as I said last night, some of the words that people use to describe her is her work ethic, her dedication, her professionalism. She's competitive and she just loves basketball.
Multiple time WNBL champion across Sydney, Townsville, Bendigo, and now the Capitals. Back after giving birth to first child Teddy last season. Great to have her back in the WNBL, 400 and counting.
And you know, I was looking up current players to see where they stand, and we actually have 3 of them playing today. So Kayla George has played 292, Jenna O'Hay 291, well, she's not playing today, and Abby Bishop 253, and they're the closest.
Yeah.
So that's still a long ways to go till 400.
We're going to watch a lot of WNBL basketball before someone else makes it to the 400 game milestone.
I apologize if I've missed somebody, but that's the numbers that I could come up with.
Here's Bishop. Bishop finishes. They needed that bucket, the Flyers, just to hold some momentum. Their first make of the third quarter.
So you could see Bishop holding up her fingers too, meaning a zone.
Mitchell down low to George. Bounce pass picked off. Bet Cole awake to it.
What an anticipation by Bet Cole.
Bishop away to Jarry. Bishop. Bounce pass through to Amy Rocci. Fumble from Jarry. 8 left on the shot clock. Rocci tries to swing it down low. McGregor forces the turnover. Tiff Mitchell in transition, and Maddie Rocci be called for the foul. If she's all okay, that's never a soft landing, is it, when you land your hip straight on the hardwood?
No.
Crash landing. Megan Huswaite courtside.
I'm going to add a name into that mix, Laurie. Mia Murray played her 300th game for Townsville in the Hub last season. Katie Ray Ebsbury also played her 300th game last season, but as we know, has retired. So I think Mia might be the only one within distance of Kelly at the moment.
Oh, thanks for saving me there, Megan. I was so worried I was going to forget somebody or miss somebody, so thank you, and a great effort by me, and I do remember that now, 300th in the Hub.
Kelly Wilson, even though she's gone through the 400 milestone, she isn't done yet, so she's at 38 on New Year's Day and still playing some really good ball, so she'll be adding to that tally as the season progresses. Get a look at this again. Kayla George trying to take it to the rack. Great D from Rachel Jarry. No foul, and Flyers get it. McGregor had it and was fouled. I think that'll go on Maddie Rocci again. So by my count, she's up to 3. They've all come either side of half-time.
Corbin, I'm just looking at the turnover count for both teams. 10 for Melbourne, 11 for Southside, and it's looked fumbly at times. And you know what? I think that can be a product of, as we talked about, the different rotations and the different bench players playing bigger minutes.
Mitchell pulls up off the dribble, left it short. McGregor, I think that's a rebound. Can we count it as that? Did it touch any of the rim? If not, book it as an assist. She's put it in. McGregor and closes the gap to 1. Here's Cole, down to Bishop to answer back. McMcGaw swats it away, Flyers recover. That was a missed shot that, hey, it'll be a tough one to record. Bishop down low, tracks the contact, and Allen will be called for the foul.
Abby, you are treading a very delicate line.
Abby Bishop, she's plenty of conversations with the refs so far today.
Hands down.
How are you recording that one, Laurie?
Yeah, I'd give her the O board.
I'll work with you if you work with me, okay? Yeah?
That's a lot of contact. Bishop shoots some foul shots here. Gee, it's good to have this woman back in the league as well. 33 years of age, averaging 33 minutes a game through the first 5 matches. And 15 points a game. She's up to 12 already here. Still have a quarter and a half to go.
You know, I feel like we talk a lot about the guards, you know, the Beck Coles, the Lindsay Allen, the Tiffany Mitchells, the Mabry and that, but somebody like Abby Bishop has just gone about her business so far this season and has been really, really important for the Flyers. You can see her just even directing traffic. It's not only her scoring and rebounding ability, but it's her leadership out there.
McMcGaw lays it in through the contact. Oh, Cole surely called for the walk. She will be. A late whistle. Break free from the scramble. 1, 2, 3.
I think that might be what Guy Malloy was talking about in one of the timeouts in the second quarter, where he wanted to, I think he called it black, where an on-ball screen they double that player and try and get a steal, which they did.
Take another look at this foul. It's on Rachel Jarry. A tangle with Kayla George.
Yes, you are.
Jarry's second personal foul, so in the bonus already halfway through the third term.
I was talking to assistant coach Larissa Anderson earlier in the day, and she said one of the things that's the most difficult for them is to try and control the things that they can't control, to manage the things that they can't control. And sometimes that's really tough to deal with mentally, but it's just something they're all learning to do.
We got a lead change, 5th one in the game. Melbourne Boomers back in front after trailing by 7 at the half. Wallace puts it on the floor. Tough shot up and in. Nice finish, Christy Wallace through contact. Make that 6 lead changes. Ooh, McMcGaw to Mitchell. Hand on it from Cole on the way through. That's the shot from Christy Wallace.
Tough finish. She had to absorb that contact and still stay balanced.
4.5 to go in the third. Allen up top. Inside. Nice finish. Lays it in with the left hand. She's got moves. Lead changing in the last 3 makes in the game. Cole puts one up, doesn't go. Mitchell in transition. Bounce pass to McMcGaw. Runs into Bishop. Draws the foul. She'll head to the charity stripe.
I wonder if Izzy, after that run down the floor, now she's at the foul line, she's going, I don't know if I can do that too often.
I heard Megan's interview at halftime with Beck Cole that the players that, and I know in Izzy's case, just coming out of isolation as opposed to recovering from the virus, but that's a very real thing. As much as sports leagues are grappling with keeping games going, it's also the athletes that have actually contracted the virus as to what effect that has on them and their performance.
Totally agree with that, and I think Beck Cole's just a classic example. She would have to be one of the fittest players in our competition, and to hear that, it's nobody told her about the effect it would have her coming back, that's a real thing.
Georgia's shot doesn't go. 1 point lead for the Boomers. 3 lead changes in the quarter. Jarry up top, left it short. over the baseline. Boomers ball. Remember Russell Westbrook in the NBA? He was one of the first, I think, athletes to contract the virus when, this is obviously before, an overwhelming number of players are vaccinated, 100% of the players in the WNBL, but with zero immunity. And he spoke about the fact that it really took him a number of games to get back before he was able to feel like himself again, almost like doing another pre-season in the middle of the year to try and get back to where you were.
That's why I'm so impressed with Beck Cole. I mean, she's got 17 so far today. She had a really good game against Perth the other day, too.
Here's Tiff Mitchell driving again, shot up, and it's good.
So this is what we missed in the first half. This is what the Boomers needed this second half, and she's delivering right now.
Mitchell starting to get herself involved.
Here we go
Another
again.
turnover in the open floor, downhill, shot up. More points for Tiffany Mitchell. She has 6 1/4. And all of a sudden, the Boomers lead it by 5. Easy lane for Amy Rocci to answer back, gets it back to a 1-possession game.
Well, for a team that prides themselves on their defense, Guy Malloy would not be happy with that.
Mitchell to Davidson, float game. That's good.
I love the player movement when you have a dribble penetration or a pass penetration. The movement off the ball is so important, and we saw that with Penina Davidson.
Both teams starting to turn it up offensively, and right on cue, Gaze a little long on her jumper. Kayla George pulls down the rebound, so momentum with the Boomers for the first time in a minute. Mitchell to Davidson, out to right. Davidson on the elbow, 4 left on the shot clock. Mitchell off the dribble, tough 3, draws the contact, and Wallace fouls the 3-point shooter. The Cardinals set in basketball. She'll head to the foul line to shoot 3.
Oh, I couldn't really see from that angle. It looked like Wallace sort of had her hand and pulled it back, but the ref saw that it was a foul, so that 3-point shot now.
And 12 and 6 against Adelaide last start, but as we touched on, that was way back on December 30. Up to 10 points now, having only had 3 at the half. Make that 11. For all 3, yes. And Tiffany Mitchell, this is what she does, starting to take over. It's an 8-point lead for the Boomers. They've kept the Flyers to just 8 points in the term. From 7 down at the half to now lead by 8. Minute and a half to go before 3-quarter time. Bishop swings it all the way to the weak side. Catch and shoot. Amy Rocci a little long. And now Mitchell, both ends of the floor, getting involved, grabs the rebound.
Well, it was a really good block out by both her and Penina Davidson.
George just pulls up, hand in the face, can't connect. Just rattles out. Wallace, extra pace. Bounce pass through to Gaze. She fumbles. They reload the Flyers. Bishop cutting. Throws it away. Scanlon. Out to right. Mitchell's just going to take control again in the midcourt. They can get a 2-for-1 here as Mitchell off the dribble. Great skills. Lays it off the glass. Doesn't go. Early advance up the floor for the Flyers. Wallace. Into the corner for Gaze up top. Amy Rocci. There's a 2-second differential, so I'll try and close it out here. Rocci. Floater off the glass. Good. They get it back to a 2-possession game. And time will tick away on the Melbourne Boomers. That'll do us through 3. What a quarter from the Boomers. On their home floor from 7 down to now lead it by 6 at three-quarter time. Final quarter action coming up 90 seconds from now. Three-quarter time at the Boom Box, and it's the Melbourne Boomers 55. They lead by 6 points with final quarter action upon us. Big turn for the Boomers, Laurie Chiswick.
Well, it certainly was, and when you look at the halftime, they only had one player in double figures, and they now have 4. So that was much more energy, efficiency, whatever they said at halftime, they've come out and done it. Now, another quarter to go. I think some of the players, like Beck Cole, were rested a little bit that last quarter, so hopefully they've got the strength to bring it back. But that third quarter was certainly all Boomers.
Now, I don't know if you knew this, Laurie Chiswick, but the National Junior Participation Program, which introduces kids to basketball aged between 5 and 10, is called Aussie Hoops. They learn to improve the fundamental skills as well as the basics of teamwork and cooperation, which of course you benefit from both on and off the court. More importantly, plenty of chance to have a bit of fun and make some friends. Over 100,000 kids involved every year, so the Aussie Hoops locator is on their website, aussiehoops.basketball/find a program. Maybe one day you can be out here jacking threes like Amy Rochi, who gets the scoring going to start the final quarter. Back to a three-point game. Into the final quarter we go.
That's exactly what they needed, just to keep in touch. And now we see a steal from Christy Wallace, just her athleticism.
Oh, game on. 5 quick points for the Flyers. It's a 1-point game. Megan Huswaite.
What an awesome opportunity for Lily Scanlon, who just brought the ball down the court there. She is again for the Boomers. No Tess Madgen today. We know she's had COVID. An awesome opportunity for Lily Scanlon and the Boomers in this final term.
Allen catch and shoot for 3. Misfires. Magbagor recovers the ball. Here's Mitchell. Pulls up a little long on the shot. Grabbing the rebound. Here's Bishop. If you thought the Flyers that sort of spent all their petrol tickets in that first half, they've got something for you to start this final quarter. Scoring the first 5 points, 1-point game to take the lead. Rochi a little long on the shot. Gee, there's a scramble underneath the bucket and there's a foul in amongst all that. It's going to be Southside ball. There's a forced turnover from Christy Wallace. Great game awareness.
Well, that's what she's capable of doing. She's athletic, she can jump. She was fronting Kayla George at the top of the key there, or making sure that she didn't get the ball in that zone, and was able to get a steal out of it.
(55-54) to Melbourne Boomers by 1. Had 7 lead changes in the game. 3 of them came in that third quarter. By my count, I had Southside Flyers up by as many as 8 points at one stage. The corner, Wallace can't connect. Magbagor on the push. Out to right. Doesn't shoot. They reload again. Still plenty of time on the red numbers. Into single digits now. Magbagor down low. Wanted Mitchell. Got it. On the deck. Kicks it back out. 3 seconds on the shot clock. Allen's got to pull up. Now one. Just running out of time. She slips on the floor. On the way through and an awkward finish. She tried to make her way to the rack. Did she stand on a shoe or just slip?
Oh, no, yeah, no, slip. She did slip.
Left foot. It's always something you never want to see, and luckily no serious injury for Lindsay Allen. Megan Huswaite.
Well, Laurie, you are a WNBL Coach of the Year, and I reckon you'd know the look that I just saw Cheryl Chambers give her assistant coach, Belinda Snell. Belinda Snell, one of our best ever players and three-point shooters, and she's looking in mighty fine shape herself on the bench. I reckon Cheryl could be giving her a nudge if they need her in the next week or so.
Here's Cole, out to Jarry, shoots the three, no good. O'Board Bishop puts it back up, no good. Oh, there's a foul call. And a hands foul on Kayla George. She can't believe it, but Abby Bishop's going to the foul line to shoot two.
Well, Belinda Snell would just have to stand at the three-point line and be able to knock those down. So you might be right, Megs, but that's this is an interesting little. In
basketball in 2022, there's jobs like that you can have for 10 years if you just roll out onto the floor and stand and shoot. Bishop makes both. 55-56, first lead change of the final term. Flyers back up by 1. 8 lead changes in the game. And the Boomers haven't scored a point as yet for the first 3 minutes of this final quarter, after leading by 6 at three-quarter time. Wright throws it into the rim. Turnover. Can they cough it up? Or Amy Rochi, wrong-footed, throws it back. Gee, a turnover every possession at the moment. Allen to George. Magbagor for some polish. Just hangs and finishes in the air.
Oh, my goodness, for a while there, it's who is not going to make a mistake instead of who's going to make a good basket.
Bishop attacks the rim. Fouled by Magbagor. Players on the Flyers side coming back from enforced COVID isolation. They are playing their second game in a couple of nights, having played Perth on Wednesday, and the Boomers, who haven't played in 16 days, they've had their own isolation problems during the week.
And don't forget that Perth game was an overtime game, so that's that extra bit of intensity, an extra 5 minutes. Do I dare say we might have overtime today?
Ooh.
I called it in the Perth game early.
You willing to commit to that now? 6-7 to go?
Let's go for it.
Ooh. It's going to be a nice finish. Two teams that really don't get along. The Southside Flyers and their chief rival, the Melbourne Boomers. Flyers back in front at the foul line. Just one make in the quarter for the Boomers. It was the last time down the floor. Look from the corner. Mitchell doesn't take it. Is he right up top? That's gone. Clean look and bangs it down.
It's good to see her taking that shot, because I thought she had one earlier on and just went, no, I can't shoot this. I'm not shooting well, but it's good to see that she took that because she was wide open. And Maddie Rachi to answer straight away.
Geez, shots going up here and landing at both ends of the floor. After a number of turnovers, now back-to-back threes. A couple more lead changes. 5 lead changes in the quarter already, which is only 4 minutes old. Right from the corner, 3 more. The hot hand in this final turn. Izzy Wright with back-to-back trips. Maddie Rochi, rinse and repeat.
Can you?
3 for Wright, 3 for Rochi, and then they both repeat the same play down the floor. And both teams shooting their shot at the moment here in this final period.
I don't think we could script it any more closely, Corbin. Those two players, back-to-back threes, answering each other.
And Maddie Rocci and Izzy Wright going head-to-head here with the game on the line in the final term. 4 straight made threes in the game and a timeout call. Southside lead it by a point, 64 over Melbourne 63. 6 lead changes in the quarter. Southside huddle, Coach Chambers.
And then we can reload the zone from there. So it might be that you guys go from the top of the zone to the bottom of the zone. You've all done that 1,000 times, okay?
You're on my side.
Yeah, so we're going to stay in the zone from there. We're just going to realign it. So if you happen to be here and Rach goes through, you end up at the base of the zone. That's all, nothing different. Great job. Here we go. Southside. Good job, Maddie.
It's the game at its best, isn't it? But Bice knocking them down from long range on both ends of the floor.
Especially when it comes to the fourth quarter and you know, now the game's on the line. Forget talking about fatigue. Everybody, the adrenaline kicks in now. They've got a 1-point game here, so keep those threes rolling.
Flyers by 1, 6 lead changes in the final quarter, 5.5 to go. Here's Wright. To Allen, to Mitchell, who's going to shoot a long 3, doesn't go. And the Flyers recover it. Wallace attached straight at Allen, shot up, offensive foul. Called for the charge, and Allen set just outside the charge circle. Draws the foul.
Yeah, she really got her body in a good position, Lindsay Allen.
A little smirk on the face from Christy Wallace. He's been good again. 7.6 rebounds. Wallace's night so far, 5 to go. Flyers by 1. George up top, clean look, yes.
Thank you very much, another 3.
So the Boomers catching fire from the perimeter here in this final term. They've had an indifferent shooting night. Some big makes for Izzy Wright, and now Kayla George getting involved. To answer back, Wallace for 2. The mid-range shot's good.
See, I like Christy Wallace's pull-up, and on that last one when she got a charge, it might have been a good idea to do a pull-up, but she made that one. Scores are level.
The single digits on the red numbers. Right to McMagor, flying through the lane. She finishes those every day of the week.
Izzy Wright, how valuable has she been in these last few minutes? A couple of threes and then a great assist to McMagor.
Kate Gay shoots the 3, got it. Gee, they're all dropping at the moment from long range with the game on the line. Flyers back in front. 8th lead change of the quarter. Allen settles off the dribble, left it short.
They're really utilizing that high on-ball screening action against the top of the zone.
Flies by 1. Gaze to Jarry, to Maddie Rocci. Bounces off right. Swings it down low. Bishop to Gaze, cutting through the paint. The reverse layup doesn't drop. What can Mitchell make of it? Bowls over Gaze. Back to Mitchell, shoots over Gaze's head. She gets the shooter's roll. It didn't go at the other end of the floor. But the basketball gods inside the boombox, shining on the Boomers here. One end of the floor, it rims out. The other end of the floor, Laurie Chiswick, it goes all the way around the world and in.
I think the fans there just had to will that ball in.
Amazing final quarter. 9 lead changes and we're not done yet. 3 minutes to go. Boomers by 2.
Southside. If you're not on the ball, you take whoever pops, okay? So we're going to continue with that for now, okay? But we decide to go to a man, we just yell out one here. We're going to go hand-o punch again. Hand-o punch, just keep moving the ball, all right? 2 downs, three is as well. Southside, good job, Ed.
Boomers by a bucket. Megan Huswaite is standing out the back of that huddle with Guy Malloy addressing the Boomers. What did you pick up, Megan?
They're going to Ezzy here, and it's a remarkable story, the performance she's having, given she's been in isolation all week. Can she be the match winner for the Boomers?
What a finish, Laurie Chiswick. 9 lead changes in this quarter.
You know what? Having the Melbourne Derby and these two teams and their rivalry, the fierceness, it's so great to see this last quarter. We missed it sort of that first 3 quarters. The intensity, the shooting, everything is just picked up.
Oh, Bishop can't hang on to it down low. Boomers back the other way, up by 2. Oh. Wallace and Allen caught in a tangle. It's a 4th personal foul on Christy Wallace. In fact, that was a 5th. I was a little ahead of the stat line, so Wallace is out of the game. 9.6 rebounds. And it ends for her 2.5 minutes early. 2-point lead for the Boomers and possession in the purple uniforms. Right, that is a deep, deep 3. Doesn't go for Allen. Mitchell reaching over the top, pulls down the O-board.
How did she get that?
Gives it back to her WNBA teammate. Allen into the corner. Izzy Wright having a quarter, can't finish. Bouncing off the rim, Bishop the board. 9 lead changes in the game. Flyers have led for much of the game. They're led by 7 at the half. Currently down 2. Jarry dumps it down low. Bishop can't finish.
Oh, I think she didn't realize how much time she had or how free she was. She was a little bit deep in the key, but yeah, that was a good opportunity gone missing.
100 seconds left in the game. Boomers by 2 and the ball. Mitchell pulls up deep 2, got it. Tiffany Mitchell when it counts. Just 3 points to halftime for Tiffany Mitchell, up to 17, her season average. With a monster showing in this second half. Maddie Rocci to Cole. Amy Rocci, clean look.
Yes.
Make it, she does. The corner 3, good for Rocci. The extra pass from Ben Cole.
Both teams have to hold their nerve defensively, offensively. What are they going to do? Who are they going to go to?
Back to a 1-point game. Mitchell off the dribble. Lost the handle. Oh, and a foul called. Cole on the reach in. She's not happy. What happens next in this game, Laurie? Timeout's going to be called. Man, a pulsating final quarter.
Both teams would have practiced this sort of situation, so a minute to go, up or down by 1. You know, how many fouls do they have to give? What sort of shots do you look at? So they will have rehearsed this, whether it happens or not, the way they plan it. But what a great situation. This is why you play. This is why you watch the game.
46 seconds left on the game clock. No audio from the huddles in the final 2 minutes. You can see inside both camps, though, Coach Chambers and Guy Malloy in charge of the Boomers. His final season. Hasn't been their night, the Boomers, but they're in a winning position here in front with 46 seconds to go against a depleted Southside team. No Jenna O'Hay, no Sarah Blitzarves. Boy, they've been good as a plucky underdog tonight, the Flyers. Down 1, 45 seconds to go.
They certainly have to. They certainly have, and you have to give full credit to all the players that have, you know, not only the Beck Coles, the Abby Bishops, but the ones that have stepped in and played bigger minutes. I think Amy Rocci has had a really good impact this second half. But there she is, Mitchell. Very quiet first half and is up to 17 points now.
5 of them in the final quarter. Baseline ball for the Boomers. Allen into George. 10 left on the shot clock. Mitchell guarded by Jarry. Blows by Jarry. Connects with McMagor. Shot up, and that's good. Call doesn't come for the Flyers. Melbourne by 3. Amy Rocci to Maddie Rocci. Down low, Bishop. Spin move. Gets it to the corner. Cole. Amy Rocci to tie the game. She misfires. And McMagor grabs the rebound.
They need to foul here.
Less than a shot clock left. Oh, and a double dribble on Tiffany Mitchell. She can't believe it. There were hands in everywhere. And in the end, a call which you rarely see in pro basketball has been picked out. And the Southside Flyers are going to get the ball back.
They get that one last chance to 3. Oh, they could get our overtime, Corbin.
What do you think of the call?
Well, there were a lot of hands in there.
Oh.
There were a lot of hands in there.
There was a lot going on in that final scrap, but the Melbourne Boomers cough up possession. Tiff Mitchell can't believe it. The Flyers will get it. 10 seconds on the clock. And they'll have a look here to tie the game. Well,
so I talked about this when it went into overtime the other day, that right now the Boomers can't allow any threes. So they can, you know, if somebody gets by them, let them have a layup, but don't let them kick it back out to an open shooter.
That was the call that didn't go their way. The contact with Jarry. Jarry fell down, call never came. Mitchell ultimately connected with McMagor to put it out to 3. Megan Husway.
Well, the shooter is going to be Beck Cole for the Southside Flyers. What a performance she's had for them tonight. She told us at halftime how she's continuing to recover from COVID. The Flyers are going to her here in a bid to win, or to send the game to overtime, as Laurie tipped a bit earlier.
Do you shoot straight away here, Laurie, or do you give yourself another chance if the shot doesn't go in?
Well, you want to get your best, you want to get it up as quickly as possible to give yourself a chance to get an offensive rebound.
Here's Beck Cole, breaks free, catch, shoot to tie the game.
Oh!
No, George with the rebound. And Maddie Rocci will be called for the foul. And she got a look up. Beck Cole, the separation from Tiffany Mitchell. And just off target.
That was a really good play that was drawn up, well executed. She got a good look at it.
They're not in the bonus here either. Timeout's going to be called. It'll be sideline ball for the Melbourne Boomers, so the Boomers have possession and a lead of 3. And they need a miracle from here, the Southside Flyers. And Beck Cole shot, as she said, she got a look at it, at least able to get a clean look on the perimeter. It just didn't go. Beck Cole had 17 points to half-time. She hasn't had a make as yet in the second half. She's really the most experienced one out there, but, or certainly the sort of most reliable scorer of the bunch on the floor, but these things are always easy to judge in hindsight. Amy Rocci with a couple of makes in this final quarter. Megan Husway.
An animated Cheryl Chambers in that timeout. She was beating her hand on her chest. We've shown a lot of ticker today, is what she told her team. She wants to see some more in this final second.
Well, Yeah, absolutely. They've shown great resilience and come out and played the way they have with the players that they've got.
They need a turnover from the inbounds and put up a prayer. It's not going to happen. Time will run out. The Boomers get out of here with a win. They weren't at their best today, but a pulsating final quarter. 9 lead changes, and at the end of it, the Boomers are on the right side of the result. It's Melbourne 75, Southside 72, with no Jayco Hay, no Sarah Blitzarves, a plucky underdog. They come into the boombox, but they leave without the W.
Oh, they'll be just so disappointed in that they came so close in this one, lost in overtime. And that's what I said at the beginning. And whilst they're further down the ladder, they're still in the mix. They're still, if they could just get there, everybody healthy, everybody together. You cannot count Southside Flyers out yet.
Big moments late in the game. And no call on Rachel Jarry, who was looking for a foul. As Mitchell worked her way through the paint, and then the other end of the floor, she was called for a double dribble in the last 15 seconds of the game. But Cole had a chance to lock it all up, missed from long range. And in the end, the Boomers hang on to win by 3. Melbourne 75, Southside 72. Ezzy McGregor, her stat line finishes with 16 and 8. She's with Megan Huswaite. Megan.
She is 24 hours ago. You were getting out of ISO, Ezzy. You've led the Boomers to an all-time classic today off the bench.
Yeah, I guess we had, a COVID scare over the week, and I was in ISO, but, I think the team did a great job of practicing all week and, getting ready for this game. We always knew it was going to be a tough game. Flyers don't want to get swept, and, they brought it out today, and it was a competitive game as always.
How did you keep connected and in touch with the team during the week while you were in isolation?
We're a great team, so I think we do a great job of just staying in touch and, checking in on each other, which is great, and credit to my teammates for doing that. And then I had a practice yesterday, so just getting the team to rally around me, and I think just me staying connected with them as well was important.
So no test today. Lily Scanlon, Izzy Wright coming in and having a huge impact. You must be so proud of the depth.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, our bench stays ready and they do a great job of coming in. Izzy hit 2 big threes. She's going to do that, and we back her 100%. So for her to just come out and do that, and Lily as well, just our whole bench turned up tonight.
How do you describe Tiffany Mitchell in a few words?
Just a baller. She gets the bucket when we need it, and she brings a lot to the team. So credit to her tonight. She plays hard every game, and today was one of those games.
You're a baller too, Ezzy. Well done today, and we'll see you Monday night, the big game against Perth. It's going to be a cracker.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks to Megan Huswaite with Ezzy McGregor. Baller is exactly right. Tiffany Mitchell, 14 points in the second half. You called for a big second half showing from her, and she delivered.
Well, she did, and the stat line all over the second half was much better, especially that fourth quarter. It produced some great shots. It produced more energy, some defense, charges. It had everything that last quarter, and so maybe the players were just saving themselves for that.
Oh, they turned it on. It was scrappy before that. Certainly finished with a rush, both teams. So the game overall, a 2-point lead at quarter time for the Melbourne Boomers. It was the Flyers by 7 at halftime. The Boomers then led by 6 at three-quarter time, and we had 9 lead changes in the final term for the Boomers on the right side of the result in the finish to win by 3. Megan Huswaite, courtside.
Well, Ezzy McGregor just called Tiffany Mitchell a baller, and that's what she did in the second half today. Tiff, what a win and a huge performance by yourself.
Yeah, thank you. I'm just trying to do what my team needs me to do. Struggled a little bit in the first half, but they kept believing in me, kept my confidence going, so I was able to turn it around the second half.
How huge was that performance today from Ezzy? She's been in isolation all week, comes in off the bench and nearly records a double-double. It was huge.
Yeah, I mean, Ezzy's probably the baller out of two of us. Like you said, it's hard being in isolation all week and having to play in a game like this, but we trust Ezzy and the work that she puts in, it shows. So we're always going to go to Ezzy if she's in isolation or not. It's just great for her to get her feet back under her.
So the Boomers win today, and you were just asking me about the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. Why do you care if they win today?
My boyfriend is playing with them. He's a replacement player, so this is his first game with them. So he's been out here with me the past month, so he had a chance to be with the Phoenix team today, and hopefully they played at the same time, so I was unable to watch, but hopefully they won. He played well.
Hopefully it'll be a happy household tonight. And finally, it is Reach Out round. How important is this round raising awareness for mental health?
Super important. A lot of people don't know that it's more mental than physical out here, so being that we have these shirts and Reach Out plays a big role in what we do.
Also, Monday night, can we get excited about Monday night yet? Perth Lynx, Marina Maybury's bowling out. It's going to be a great matchup.
Yeah, we had to take one game at a time, honestly, make sure that we handle this game, and we're going to turn the page and get ready for Perth on Monday.
But thanks, Tiff. Well done today.
Thank you.
Tiffany Mitchell, 17 points, 14 of them came in the second half, and we've spoken a lot about the cast that isn't there for the Flyers. Of course, Tess Madgen missing from the Boomers. They win without her, a 3-point victory. Let's hope Tess will be back on Monday night for that matchup with the Lynx. Very exciting finish, Laurie Chiswick. 9 lead changes in the final quarter.
Well, you know what? That's what we expect when we have, the other two games were big margins, but this is what we expect when these two teams play. And the fact that some of the, as we see Izzy Wright just stepping up, some of the bench players, the players that weren't usually in the spotlight really came to play. And Tiffany Mitchell, well, you can't say enough about her in her fourth quarter and second half.
Absolutely. It's finishing with 17 points. They got it done by committee. McMagor 16, 13 for Allen, 13 for George. While for the Flyers, 17 for Bet Cole. They all came in the first half. Abby Bishop finished with 17 and really liked Christy Wallace's game as well. She ultimately fouled out, but 9 points and 6 rebounds in the time that she did play. The Melbourne Boomers recovery before getting ready to take on the Perth Lynx on Monday night. Is that the best matchup in basketball at the moment? We'll preview it next. The Boomers get home by 3 over the Southside Flyers. They get home by 3 points in the end over the Southside Flyers. A tremendous finish to the game. 9 lead changes in the final quarter. And in the end, the Boomers get home by 3. Improves their record to 5-2, Laurie Chiswick. We're in that stage of the season where we're still trying to establish this early season hierarchy. Where do you have the Melbourne Boomers in the conversation at the moment?
Well, I think, like I said, I picked them as my championship favourites. And I think that it's like you said during the call, sometimes they're really brilliant, other times, but they find ways to win. And I think getting these W's early in this season when things are disjointed and there's games that are postponed is so important, because I think once everybody gets back on track, that's when teams would be expected to win. So these W's for the Boomers are really crucial at this stage.
Yeah, I think it's almost easy to place them in a way that we think that they're going to be well and truly there in title contention. The Southside Flyers, on the other hand, where all of a sudden they're 2-4, so they're 2 games below 500. Yes, they didn't have Jenna O'Hea and Sarah Blitzarves. They are the defending champions, but it's a different group than the side that we saw really win the championship and win well going away in the end last season.
Well, it is, and that's where these wins early on become really important, and they unfortunately haven't had them. They've had those now 2 really close losses. A really good come-from-behind win against Townsville. So when I say they're in the mix, I feel like if they're all healthy, they've got some great players out there. Their team chemistry is really good, so I wouldn't discount them yet.
The other team is, of course, the Perth Lynx, who a lot of good judges having their estimations to be a title contender this year from the small sample size that we've seen. Megan Huswaite's back with us courtside. Megan, I think that's a juicy matchup in prospect, isn't it? The Boomers and the Lynx on Monday night.
Oh. Ballarat is going to be alight with this huge game. It's going to be fantastic. Some people have tipped it as a grand final preview, so we will see if it does live up to hype. Perth, of course, are playing a big stretch of games at the moment, so a big win over Canberra last night, and they'll look to continue their momentum with Marina Maybury leading the way on Monday night in Ballarat.
I saw, Megan, that you had Marina Maybury in your top 5 players. After just one single performance, she had her 5th on the list overall. Has she moved up your rankings as the weeks progressed?
She has, Corbin, yes, because when my column was published on Tuesday, she'd played only 1 game, and of course she's balled out, which seems to be the common term here at the Boombox today, against the Flyers in overtime and again against Canberra last night. So I'll be doing the game on Monday night. I'm really excited to watch her live, and she is living up to all the hype as one of Perth's star imports alongside Jackie Young. And Laurie, I know you called the game last night. Jackie Young is finding her feet too.
Oh, she certainly is, and it was so good to see because, you know, we expected it, we sort of, because Maybury was playing so well, we expected it to Jackie Young to come along there too. So it took her a couple of games, but all of a sudden we could see what she is capable of doing. You add in Sammy Whitcomb to that mix, Garvin, Scherf, they're playing really well. So they're right up there as hot favourites, I would say.
Absolutely. They're an interesting mix, what they've been able to put together. As you said, Scherf, the 2 imports, and Sammy Whitcomb, which they may not have counted on to be able to get the production and what they've been at and the availability that they've been able to have out of that group so early in the season. So they look a real force. The Perth Lynx again this year. Have you got a prediction for us, Laurie? Are you willing to tip that one way or the other this far out?
The championship or the game?
Just the game on Monday we'll start with. I won't go too hard. Championship prediction.
I think I'm going to actually go Perth. I think the games, the last 2 games that I've seen and called for them, I've been really impressed. And, you know, you talk about the fatigue factor, that'll be their 3rd game in 6 days. But I think they're riding high right now. I think they're feeling pretty good about each other. They'll have had that travel day recovery, another extra day. So, yeah, I'm going to tip Perth.
The moment which really decided the outcome in the game in the end was the 3 ball from Beck Cole. She had the opportunity to get a shot up late. Laurie Chiswick, talk us through this. So it was the play that they drew up.
Well, it's like a gate play, which often we see at the top of the key where 2 players in Rachel Jerry and Abby Bishop come together and stop the defender, Tiff Mitchell, from getting through. And Beck Cole cut hard, got the ball. You know, she's been shooting the 3 ball really, really well. So I thought they gave themselves every chance to win. You know, it's always a bit sad when a team draws up a play and you get a fumble or a turnover, you don't. But they had a really good look. So, yes, it didn't go in, but they gave themselves every opportunity to get that W.
Some fast ones to finish. The COVID situation, every sports league in the world at the moment is trying to keep their competition on the court. Is the league doing the right thing at the moment, just trying to clear games wherever possible?
Well, I think so. We want to see them play, you know. Even though there was players depleted today, what a great game, what a great spectacle of women's basketball still. So I think to try and, if we have to postpone them to do the right thing by the health and safety, but if we can get them in, and even if it's not every single player that's there, the star players or bench players, we need to keep this season going.
The Opals squad is going to be announced early in the week. They've got a trip to Serbia. Which, by the way, if you put your finger in the wind, relations between Australia and Serbia at the moment are a little bit tense due to a certain tennis player. But our team is travelling to Serbia to play a game or a couple of games in the middle of February. So that'll be a fascinating watch. Is there a player or a bolter that you're particularly on the lookout for when that squad gets named early in the week?
Well, interestingly, I think that guard spot is really up for grabs. The big question mark over Leilani Mitchell. And so you have some players like Maddie Rocci, Shyla Heel, who wasn't in the mix before, would certainly be putting her hand up. Tessa Levy, we're not sure what her situation is with football. So, and then Sammy Whitcomb, of course, who was outstanding in the Asia Cup. So it'll be interesting, I think, especially in that guard spot, to see how that evolves.
The other thing to look out for during the week on the 18th, which is Tuesday, Paul Goris and Simon Cozier, this story which has been in the background, obviously, in the WNBL, the appeals board will reconvene, so there'll be a little bit more on that front after that game earlier in the year between the Capitals and the Flames. That's all we got time for there. Rolling the closer. We're getting out of here after what has been a tremendous game of basketball. 9 lead changes in the final quarter. Laurie Chiswick, it's been good fun.
It's been great, and we were looking forward to this game, and it paid the dividend.
75-72, the Melbourne Boomers eventually get there over a plucky Southside Flyers outfit. It's great to have nationally televised WNBL back on your screens. On behalf of Megan Huswaite, Laurie Chiswick, our entire wonderful crew here, my name's Corbin Middlemass, the Boomers home by 3.
For just one day, watch this madness, colorful charade. No one can be just like me anyway. Just like